Mr. Torres, can you tell me how and when did you get your PR in Canada?
I applied my PR through skilled worker program in 2010 and landed in Canada in October 2013.
Can you tell us the composition of your family?
Myself and my daughter. My wife passed away in 2012. I lost my parents when I was 12. I only have my grandmother who looked after me and my two sisters.
Oh, my condolences to you for your wife passing. Did you work after you became a PR in Canada?
Yes, I worked as an IT specialist in Econ in Toronto region.
How long did it take you to find this job?
Just in a month, I was introduced by one of my friends in Toronto.
How long do you work for this job?
I've been working in Econ for around 2 years.
Tell me about your life in Canada, Mr. Torres.
Well, I think my life is pretty stable in Canada. I have a job and I had a girlfriend. We used to own a property together. I was living with her. We planned to get married. I also sponsored my daughter to Canada in 2014. And I have my G license. I bought my own car in 2014. And I also volunteered at the YWCA. I teach basic IT skills to new immigrants.
Oh, your life is quite stable. What was the arrangement financially of this condo?
We share half and half on everything.
So do you come back to Canada after you land in, do you come back to Brazil after you landed in Canada? I'm sorry.
Yes, I did twice. One in 2014 to visit my grandmother and my daughter for around 2 weeks. And then the other one is last time, like 2015, when I received a phone call from my sister, Maria, to inform me that my grandmother was sick and he had a cancer.
How close are you and your grandmother?
Well, she's like my mother. My parents died in a car accident when I was only 12.
I see. So when do you leave for Brazil after you got the phone message from your sister?
I left a week later after my sisters called me.
How long were you expected to be away?
About 3 months at that time. I bought a return ticket to Toronto and I applied for like 3 months of leave from my company.
Yeah, but you never used your air ticket, right? And you never returned as planned. What happened?
Because like after I arrived in Brazil, I discovered that my grandmother really needed 24-hour care. And I had to bring her in and out of the hospital for her chemotherapy and her visit to doctors. Besides, and I have a child, Marcella. I had to look after her as well.
So are there any other family members who can take care of your grandmother?
No, not really. Both of my sisters has 3 young children and they're all under age 8. And Maria, her family was settled in Portugal in 2014. And Anna, my youngest sister, she's settled in England. So none of them can take care of my grandmother.
I see. Okay, ma'am, dear member, at this moment right now, I'm going to pass it to my co-counselor, Mr. Gurpreet, to continue questioning. Mr. Gurpreet.
Thank you, Kartir. Hi, Mr. Torres. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to come back to the question of your daughter. I want to know more about her. Can you tell me where is she right now?
Sorry?
Where is your daughter right now?
Oh, she's living in Brazil.
Oh, she's living in Brazil. I just wonder, and I have to ask this question. When you came as a PR, why did you not, brought your daughter along, or why did she not land with you in 2013? Is there any specific reason?
Because my wife just passed away in 2012. And I wanted to establish myself first in Toronto and bring her over.
Okay. So when did you eventually, try to bring her over in Canada?
I sponsored her in 2014 after my life was quite stable in Toronto.
Okay. And may I ask what happened to that application, or when did she get her COPR or PR?
She got her COPR in 2016.
Okay, so that means she should have landed in Canada. Can you tell me when did she land in Canada?
She had never landed in Canada because at that time, my grandmother was in hospital and I was too busy taking care of my grandmother. And also I did not have enough money to bring my doctor to Canada at that time. And if I come, nobody can look after my grandmother.
Oh, okay. But how did you support yourself in Brazil when you were taking care of your grandmother?
I relied on my savings in my Canada banking account. And my grandfather has some pension, so we use that to support ourselves. And my two sisters, they also send money for my grandmother's medical support.
Okay, okay. Is your grandmother alive now?
She passed away in February 2018.
Oh God, ma'am, so sorry. May she rest in peace. I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, but let's continue with the questions. Why did you not return to Canada when your grandmother was no more?
I wanted to return to Canada as soon as possible, but there were many loose ends that I had to tie. Like I had to arrange for the funeral for my grandmother, and I had to take care of all the legal formalities. And other than these matters, I have no money to buy tickets to come back. I needed money to clear my grandmother's bills as well. And my girlfriend kept lingering on the matter of sell our condo. So, and I also needed money to help my doctor come along in one way or another by consulting a lawyer. So I may need some money to send her to my sister if she can't come to Canada with me at this point. The sales of the condo went through in August 2019. So after that, I applied for my PRTD with just 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, okay. Another question that comes up from all this question is like, did you work in Brazil? That was quite a long time that you stayed there.
No, I never think about it because I didn't expect to stay there that long. I think Canada is my home, so I never think about it.
Okay, okay. Did your grandmother by any chance leave you any property or maybe any insurance money or something like that when she passed away?
Not really. She left nothing. So we sold all her jewelries and used all her savings when she was sick. And the house we are living belongs to my grandfather's company, and it can't be sold. And we were living on my grandfather's pension. But then when my grandmother passed away, the pension stopped.
Oh, okay, okay. You said you didn't work in Brazil. You worked in Canada before you came to Brazil. So may I ask that did you contact your previous employer or any new employer and see if they wanted to rehire you or something like that?
I did when I applied for my PRTD, and they reassured me that I will be rehired as soon as I landed in Canada, and I got a conditional job offer from them.
Okay. Okay, Tiffany, sorry, Mr. Torres, can you tell me the exact number of days that you have spent in total inside Canada since the day you landed as a PA?
I spent, I think, around 2 years, and that is 680 days in total.
Okay, okay. Did you pay your taxes?
Yes, every year.
Every year. Okay, okay. Did you submit any humanitarian and compassionate ground considerations or any exemption on those bases along with your PRTD application?
Yes. I attached a separate sheet and mentioned all the relevant considerations.
Okay, okay. Can you please briefly explain, like, how did you feel when you got this decision that your PRTD has been rejected?
Well, I think I was already suffering from the pain of the death of my grandmother when I got this decision. And I was really sad because it was like the whole world crumbed upon me. And I think Canada is where I belong, and I wanted my doctor to be with me. And I have my friends here, and I have my belongings storage in my friend's garage. Like I used to have my job and a long-term relationship. And I have my job prospects and my doctor's future there. So I really can imagine like if one day I can return to Canada.
Okay. Okay. So if your appeal is allowed, what will you do? What is your plan of action?
I will return to Canada for sure and apply for PR for my doctor immediately. And while I'm waiting for her got approved, I will like rent a place using the money from the sale of my condo, and I will take the job from Nikon offered, and I will resettle in Canada.
Okay. That's all, Mr. Torres. That's all we have to ask.
Dear Member and Ministers Council, our client, Mr. Philip Torres, who got his permanent residence travel document, PRTD, denied in September 2019, filed an appeal from the decision by visa officer as he did not meet residency obligations. We do believe there are sufficient humanitarian and compassionate considerations warrant special relief in light of all the circumstances of the case pursuant to IRPA section 67AC, which should lead his appeal be allowed. Mr. Philip Torres, who became a permanent resident of Canada in October 2013, was well established in Canada. He was able to secure a job in a month as an IT specialist in a renowned company, Nikon, Ottawa, at the Toronto branch after he landed in Canada. His job was introduced by one of his friends in Toronto. Ms. Torres met his ex-girlfriend, Ms. Rosemary Giffen, in 2014. They bought a property together in Toronto. Ms. Torres got his driver's license in 2014 as well, and bought his own car in the same year. During his spare time, Ms. Torres volunteered at the YWCA to teach basic IT skills to new immigrants. Ms. Torres got his social and community networks built up soon in Canada. He was well settled in Toronto. In March 2015, Ms. Torres rushed back to Brazil to take care of his grandmother after he got a phone call from his sister, Maria, who found out his grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. Ms. Torres took a 3 months unpaid leave and flew back to Brazil right away. Ms. Torres has a very close relationship with his grandmother. He lost his parents when he was 12, and he was raised by his grandmother. His grandmother was his de facto mother, in fact. Ms. Torres bought a return ticket before he left. However, due to the fact that his grandmother's condition was deteriorating and she required 24-hour care, Ms. Torres was not able to come back at the planned time. Ms. Torres has 2 sisters, Ms. Maria Torres Gabriel and Ms. Anna Torres Thomas. The 2 younger sisters were not able to take care of their grandmother. They both have 3 young children that need to be taken care of. Besides, both of them had moved overseas, each to Portugal and England back in 2014. Ms. Torres was the only one who would be able to take care of their grandmother. As we mentioned earlier, Ms. Torres takes his obligations to take care of his mother, who is his de facto mother in reality. Moreover, in 2015, Mr. Torres' daughter, Marcela, was only 7 years old. She used to live with Mr. Torres' grandmother in Brazil. Ms. Torres needed to look after her as well after his grandmother got sick. Ms. Torres' grandmother passed away in 2018. During the 3 years period spent in Brazil, Ms. Torres had never had intention to find a new job in Brazil. He asked for 2 more 3 months unpaid leave after he found out his grandmother needed 24-hour care, which would not make him live in a short time. After his departure from Toronto for 9 months, he was informed that he got laid off by Nikon. He did not leave his job. Nikon laid him off due to the circumstance that he could not control. If he had a choice, he would never leave his job in Canada. After he lost his job, Mr. Torres relied on his savings in Canada while he was in Brazil. He did not have any other support from the community in Brazil. His grandmother was living relying on his grandfather's pension. He also got some support from his two sisters as well for his grandmother's medical costs. Mr. Torres lived in the house that belongs to his grandfather's company, which with his grandmother and his doctor when he lived in Brazil. After his grandmother passed away in February 2018, Ms. Torres wanted to come back to Canada as soon as he could. However, it was not as easy as he thought. Having been living relying on his savings in Canada, he could not afford his ticket. He also needed money to clear his grandmother's bill. Ms. Torres had to make arrangements for his doctor as well. Ms. Torres sponsored his doctor in December 2014 when he was well established in Canada. His doctor, Marcela, got her COPR in 2016. Ms. Torres was busy taking care of his grandmother as she was in and out of the hospital frequently at that time. Therefore, he was not able to land with his doctor in time. At this moment, if Ms. Torres' doctor could not go with him in Canada, he would need to arrange someone to take care of her in Brazil for a period of time. He would also need consultations from a lawyer regarding his doctor's PR application. Ms. Torres could not afford in either way. Due to the fact that he lacked financial support at the moment, Ms. Torres asked his ex-girlfriend, Ms. Rosemary Giffen, if they could sell the condo they owned together. Ms. Giffen kept lingering on the matter of sell the property. Fortunately, Ms. Torres was able to get his money back after they sold the condo in 2019, which was taken over a year. Right after the condo got sold, Mr. Torres applied for PRTD to come back to Canada. Ms. Torres, a middle-aged man who was well established in Canada, he spent a total of 680 days in Canada after he landed. He had his friends here in Canada. He had all his belongings stored in his friend's garage, and he had a long-term love relationship here, which was broken down due to his unexpected departure. Mr. Torres filled his tax every year when he lived in this country. He had his life here in Canada. Before he rushed back to Brazil, he had never expected that he would have to stay in Brazil for that long, 4 years. Due to the painful reality that happened to him, he had no choice to escape but to suffer. He had made Canada his home. After experiencing the hardest time in his life, his desire is to come back to his real home as soon as he can. Mr. Torres had contacted his ex-employer in Nikon when he submitted his PRTD. As an excellent employee, Ms. Torres got his conditional offer right away. Nikon had reassured Mr. Torres that he will be rehired as soon as he's back to Canada. His only child, Marcela, was expecting that she could stay with her only immediately family member, his father, Ms. Torres, all the time. She had started to learn English when she knew she would come to Canada to join his father. She was looking forward to landing in Canada. With all the unexpected circumstances, Marcela did experience a hard time as well, especially psychologically. Based on the above arguments with the supporting documents that we submitted and the testimonies of Mr. Torres' sister, his friends in Toronto, his grandmother's close friends, and the principals of his high schools, we strongly suggest that MBAT factors should be considered in Mr. Torres' case. In the context of a residency obligation appeals, these following factors were reformulated and restated in MBAT versus Canada, Citizenship and Immigration, 2010, at paragraph 27. The factors which applies to Ms. Torres' case in MBAT are 2. The reasons for the departure and stay aboard. 3. the degree of established in Canada, initially at the time of hearing. 7, hardship to the appellant if removed from or refused admissions to Canada. And 8, whether there are other unique or special circumstances that merit special relief. Considering the factors above, we believe that the decision made by the visa officer was wrong at the time pursuant to IRPA section 67AC, and Mr. Torres' appeal should be allowed. Thank you, dear member and Minister Counsel, for your patience.